Ta-ding. Yeah. So I'm sure Nick will be here in a couple of minutes. So last week you guys had just left an asteroid that was filled with crazy clockwork titans, and you had actually managed to grab a couple of the gold clockwork titans, or clockwork horrors, or what will you? There he is. Big Bong. Hello.
Yo.
Okay.
Oh, what's up, everybody?
There he is.
My headset was not turned on.
That'll do it every time. So yeah. So yeah, last week you guys had kind of made your way through a hive of these clockwork horrors. You had rescued some people who were happy to join your crew. You had essentially saved them from a life of terrible slavery and perhaps consumption at the hands of the Neogis and Umber Hulks that had them captive. You had escaped with large amounts of copper, silver, and gold, I believe. And going through my notes, you had also had your first combat encounter alongside Nib and Nob, I believe they were called. The two gnomes, auto gnomes, sorry, that were already stationed on your ship when you took control of it. Let's see, so when you left,
handy they are.
yes, you had sort of taken back off into hyperspeed, and the last thing you had found was a letter that was sealed in wax with the binding seal that was very similar to the coins that you had first found that were believed to be traced to Malakani the Lich Lord, while he was still a Lich, like in your present future time. It's like Days of Future Past stuff. So upon re-entering the ship, Umbra simply has looked at you and been like, "Well then, how was your little excursion?"
It was awesome. We got to get some robot guys, and I put down the giant golden robot that I took with me.
All right. Yeah, and she kind of looks down and she smiles at you and she says, "You always have a way of making everything fun, don't you, Tohan?"
Yeah.
Maggie introduces the new crew and basically talks about why they're there.
Okay. So as soon as you are assuming that you mentioned the letter that you have found, she immediately snatches it out of your hand, and she turns it over, looks at the wax seal on it, and she gets a concerned look on her face. And she looks at all of you, and slowly slides a fingernail under the wax seal to open it. She unfurls a letter that stinks of brimstone and hellfire, and as she unfolds it, little puffs of ash, just these 1 inch long puffs of ash fly up almost into the figure of like bats and fly out and disperse into dust in the room. And a voice comes directly from the letter, and it simply says, "Umbra, you know, we have been expecting you." And as soon as the voice completes this sentence, shimmer begins to take over Umbra's body, and she looks panicked for a moment. She looks at you, holds out a hand, and says, "Don't worry. I just I have to maybe go settle an old debt." And you can hear this.
Who, dearie?
You can hear this this laughter in the background. This dark, hollow laughter. And she says, "Oh, just something I've got to talk to Asmodeus about. And as soon as she says about, she kind of goes and bamfs out of existence. As the letter falls from her hand, it begins to glow. First like a subtle kind of white glow, and then it becomes a little more pink, and then red, and then finally it's glowing like a bright orangish hue, and it's getting very, very hot. Not hot like fire, but like hot like when you've got a day of sun on the open water almost. Like it is essentially irradiating the area and the ship around you, and alarms begin going off. Reggie, opening a mental channel between all of you, goes, "Ooh, ooh, oh, is this what one of those hot foot tricks feels like? Please, whoever's doing this needs to stop immediately. This is very uncomfortable."
Okay. Just I take like a shovel or something on the deck and scoop it off the deck.
Right, and it just easily kind of floats off the edge of the deck, and as soon as it hits the outside of the magical atmospheric bubble around your ship, it instantly kind of stops its forward motion like it's floating, and it just hangs in space and slowly begins drifting in space, akin to where it was pulled out of the ship's area. Reggie says, "Oh dear, well, it seems there was some sort of very high energy signature attached to that particular letter. I do hope Miss Umbra is okay. I dare say I believe some of my interior circuits may have suffered some severe damage, and it's going to be quite hard navigating, especially considering that drow that you imprisoned seems to have slipped his moorings, and, well, I can't detect him anywheres on the ship. Perhaps he absconded upon the asteroid or something. I'm not sure. No scans are showing no signs of Jarlaxle on board."
Is the letter still within reach, or it's like?
Oh no, it's gone by now. I mean, like, the ship's still flying at a fairly good clip.
Surely there must be someone in our new crew that has some knowledge of circuitry. We should see if anyone's able to put themselves to that task.
I'd like to do an Arcana check on the residue of what's left of the magic that the letter emanated.
Absolutely. Go ahead and make your Arcana check, and Vanadia, while you're shouting for some of the crew, like who's the lead engineer? You know.
I was thinking of making like a loudspeaker announcement.
Yeah, the two auto gnomes that accompanied you last time pop up, and they say, "Oh, don't worry, we'll get right on it," and they go scurrying off below decks.
I motioned to the large lump of various conductive metals that we just grabbed, and I said, "You should have all the material you need here to work with."
I tell Reggie to work with the gnomes on fixing himself.
"Oh yes, Miss Ariant, of course." Nob looks up and he says, he says, "That's actually quite a good idea." And he, one of his arms kind of does a go-go gadget arm thing, reaches out and grabs the deceased, if you will, clockwork horror or clockwork titan, and begins dragging it behind him in this, kind of comical, mechanical manner. What were you starting to say, Ariant?
Oh, I was just going to say my Arcana check was an 18.
Okay, excellent. So when you investigate the residue of the letter, you immediately detect that this is, in fact, infernal magic. You recognize the signature of it anywhere after having spent as much time in Avernus as you had. This is definitely the work of Asmodeus. There's no questioning that. Like, it's the exact same magical signature that you got anytime you detected anything when you were in hell. Like, yep, it's fucking evil.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Maggie's gonna cast scrying on Jarlaxle and figure out where the hell this dude is.
Okay.
Let's see. So assuming that, like, within his stuff we can find like a piece of hair or fingernail or something like that, He'd have a negative 15 save modifier on her Wisdom 18 saving throw. So,
I mean, we have his hat.
Yeah, you have
there
his
might be
hat.
hair
You
in
can
there.
absolutely
Right.
take something
Right.
out of there. All right,
so yeah, between knowledge and connection, it would be negative 15 to his save modifier.
let me look up his stats because I wasn't expecting that.
Nice.
Zach, while you're looking that up, were you saying also that the auto gnomes were going to be building a forge on the ship as well?
Yeah, they were very excited about all the metals that you guys had found.
Cool. I grab a notebook and start heading down to whatever deck that's supposed to be on, and start kind of like scoping that corner out and moving some junk around and taking some notes and drawing some floor plans up and stuff.
Absolutely.
Kind of basing it sort of on my parents' forge.
Hey, Zach,
Yes.
give me a refresher on who Amadeus was and how we interacted with him.
Asmodeus was Zariel's. He is one of the dukes of hell, as it were, or the princes of hell. He is the ruler of Avernus, the top layer of hell. And so there are 9 of these princes throughout all the hells. And they're the ones that are responsible for fighting off the demons that are invading from the abyss. Zariel, the kind of the devil that you guys had been dealing with all through Avernus, and then once you got out of Avernus, dealing with her with Umbra later on. She was originally Asmodeus' general before all of these things happened above ground and all hell broke loose, as it were.
Thank
So
you.
the saving throw for Scribe, Dave, is what? Is Wisdom?
Yep, against your Wisdom 18.
Okay, so rolling +3, rolled an 18 with a +3.
Minus 15. So
Yeah, so that's definitely a fail then. So you actually, when you see this vision, assuming that you find some clean water or something and you pour it into like your walk shield to kind of look at this, the reflection that is shown back to you is Jarlaxle, minus his hat and some of his finer clothing, a dagger clenched in his teeth and another in one of his hands, rowing a very small dinghy through an asteroid field. Like it is like instead of a spell jammer, it is like a spell lifeboat. And
I like spell dinghy.
Yeah, the spell dinghy, exactly. He's just kind of pulling with one hand, and he is currently fighting off some sort of like space tentacles that are coming up underneath the boat at him. And he seems to be like holding his own, but he doesn't seem real happy. And for just a brief second, you're pretty sure that he looks straight up at you through this scry. And then the thing kind of dissolves away. So he does seem to have escaped. He is somewhere's out there in space.
okay, just a nondescript asteroid field.
Yeah, just around some asteroids and chunks of shit floating around him and some space tentacles.
Cool. Yeah,
Doesn't
now
look
you
like
probably
he's
has no
having a
clue
good
what an asteroid field even is, but she describes this to the crew and
Yeah,
to
just all these floating rocks. Yeah.
describes it to Reggie
Snickers.
and all them. And basically asks Reggie and maybe the autonomes how important it is to, like, do we need to do something about this?
The autonomes are quite busy right now and sort of they give you an answer, but in such a roundabout way that you're not even entirely sure what they said. Like you're pretty sure they were still talking about the forge that they were building, and the one of them is actually into a like cabinet and pulling out all of these like different colored wires while the other one, who is building the forge, or more improving on a piece of equipment that seems to be very forge-like in its nature. It's very hot, and there is several doors in between where anyone else is allowed to stand and the actual center of the heat. He uses these like kind of crazy lever arms to move metals in and out of it and melt the metals. You're pretty sure that it's got something to do with how the ship runs, some sort of like an engine or something. But both of them are very preoccupied. Reggie, however, is able to say, "Oh, Miss Maggie, the odds of someone surviving a trip such as the one that you've pictured here is extremely low. I mean, Jarl Axel has been known to be quite cunning and wily, but even he may have a hard time surviving this one."
Aaron just shrugs her shoulders, smirks, and says, "Oh well."
So let's see. One of the auto gnomes, the one that's crawling under, messing with the wires, slides back out and says, "Well, boss, Captain, that is. I've got good news and I've got bad news. You see which one would you like first?"
Bad news.
All right. Yes, first mate. The bad news is that we probably aren't going to be able to reach our destination in the condition that this ship is in. The good news is, I think I know a guy that can help. You see, we've been through these parts before, long ago. And if the guy's still here, he kind of runs a sort of a spell jamming junkyard, if you will. It's a pretty cool place, really. Reggie, I'll send you some coordinates right now. And he beeps and boops for a moment, and Reggie says, "Oh yes, that's actually quite nearby, isn't it? Yes. Well, Miss Ariant, Captain Ariant, that is, would you care for me to take us to this space junkyard?"
As long as everybody's in agreement, I just don't see why not, since we have to get the ship fixed.
Let's go.
Right.
Let's do
Cheerio.
it.
The ship lurches again as Reggie picks up speed. So Vanadia, as you're working with these auto gnomes, you can see that their genius when it comes to design and engineering seems to be almost unparalleled. It's almost as if whoever created them made them in a way to be able to learn things almost instantaneously as far as building stuff.
Awesome. I describe how a power hammer works to them and tell them to make me one, as well as a hydraulic press.
Excellent. Yeah, that's no problem. They can get that done, as they are currently kind of like, you're literally witnessing this lab almost appear around where the problem is, as they are manufacturing things that will help them. And Nib, the kind of more outspoken one, is like, "Oh yes, and we can also add some an auto lathe over here, and right here is a good spot for our this would be excellent for a CNC." He's just they're just planning this stuff out with you. And one of the things that he suggests doing is creating out of the remaining, they've sort of scrapped one of the two Clockwork Titans at this point. Like, there's still a lot of leftovers that they're working from, but it's pretty much not going to function anymore. But he tells you that the other one is actually in pretty good working order for the damage that it had taken, and he's fairly certain that he's got a very good use for it. If you would permit him to work on that, his counterpart would be happy to complete all of the laboratory requirements that you had. He beeps it.
Can you be sure that it's not under control of whatever was controlling them back there?
Says, "Oh yes, most certainly. Here, I can. If nothing else, I just don't want to spoil the surprise. Here, Reggie, And he goes beep beep boop 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 for a couple of seconds, and Reggie sort of listens, and Reggie says, "Oh, I do think it's an excellent idea, and I do think that Miss Arianth would approve. At least I hope she would." Can we do it, Miss Arianth? Can he? Oh, please.
Oh, sorry, my mic was off. I didn't even realize it. I'm totally down if everybody else is agreeable. I trust Reggie.
Sounds good. Meg's gonna be wary, but she's down.
All right. So you guys have a couple of like a short rest worth of downtime if you need it.
I do.
You are by now. Reggie is definitely like feeling the whatever damage has been done, and the ship seems to be almost kind of limping along in like sub hyperspace. It's not going like full bore. It's like doing 30 on the Northway on the sidelines, you know. He says, "Oh, I do believe we are reaching our destination. That's good. I was starting to feel that foot cramp there. Well,
I try to use my mending spell to ease whatever proverbial pain he's feeling.
okay. Yeah, I mean you're not necessarily able to fix the technical aspect of it, but you can definitely ease some of the meltiness, you know, wherever you see a little slag sort of like reforms a little bit. He says, more notes. There you go. So as you pull into what appears to be a sort of derelict, floating kind of castle slash space station, there doesn't appear to be any like rock that it is on. It just literally looks like a giant castle floating in space, just a self-contained thing. As it turns slowly around, as it rotates towards you, a huge billboard that says Zorbo's Gas and Pit Stop comes into view, and you can see kind of a landing bay that Reggie is approaching, and there are several other ships here, kind of quite a few as a matter of fact, big ones, small ones. It seems to be a kind of fairly popular place despite it looking sort of decrepit and run down. And as you approach, you can hear docking instructions coming across Reggie's communication channels. He sort of has you patched into where you can sort of hear it, and it's pretty clear. They just direct you into one of the space bays, and Reggie's able to fairly easily land. And as you do, you're approached by Nib again, who says, "Oh, I think I've got it ready now. Well, let me introduce you to him." And he opens up the bay door that he was working in of the ship, and out from this door emerges one of these clockwork titans, this 8-foot tall, like, robot creature. And it begins kind of looking at you ominously, its robot eyes locking onto each one of you, obviously scanning you. And you hear,
I say, I don't think I'm your size pants.
Maggie's readying a bowl.
Do they bear any resemblance to the robots we just fought?
it literally is one of the ones you brought back to the ship. He has repaired it, and it is now standing behind him, just looking down at you for a moment. And then it says, "Oh my, it feels so good to be a humanoid again. Well, let's go see what this place has to offer, shall we?" And Reggie runs down the opening doors to the ship. Says, "Don't worry, I'm still in full contact with the ship. This is just, an extension of it. It's lovely, come on! And he's running backwards. It's like this giant menacing robot that's suddenly skipping around like a kid.
Jesus.
Aaron just laughs and shakes her head.
Nib says, I thought you'd like that. I've got to get back to work on Reggie's, wiring here, but, you guys go have fun. Listen, you're gonna want to ask around for a guy called the Booker. He's the one that can really help you out here. He knows how to get things done. He kind of books events around here. I'm not really sure what they've got going on right now, but there's always some kind of a show. Just tell him Nib sent you. He'll know. Yeah, you guys are free to exit to the area in the castle that sort of functions as a small, like, loading and unloading zone, kind of. You see merchants kind of grabbing things back and forth. A lot of food is being made, and you notice it bears a resemblance to what we would call tailgating. There definitely seems to be, like, this kind of atmosphere of celebration. People are cheering, people are going back and forth, and one will yell across to another one, and the other one will yell back to the first one, but then they'll both laugh. Like, it seems like kind of competitive, but at the same time, something fun. And as you guys head through this area, you're approached by several people kind of slinging wares towards you. Many of them appear to be garments that have special designs on them that represent perhaps some competitor. You're not quite sure what this sporting event is, but you're pretty sure it's some sort of sporting thing going on here. And as you approach the main gate to the largest hall, Reggie says, if the coordinates that Nib gave me are correct, this should be the place. And he's getting a lot of stares from the locals, but they don't seem to be, like, particularly alarmed. Like, maybe they've seen some weird shit here before, you know, being a space station out in the middle of nowhere that is called Zorbos. Nothing normal probably happens at Zorbos is my best
Nothing
guess.
surprises them anymore.
Yeah. And Reggie, leading the way, slams open these two great doors that are made of some strange-looking metal, all rivets and bolts. And as he slams open the door, you guys enter some sort of an arena. It looks to be almost a gymnasium. And in the center of this gymnasium, there are two men facing off in what appears to be a raised square mat, surrounded by 3 ropes, and a man in a striped shirt stands in the center, and he says, "Let's get it on!" And the two men charge at each other. Booming over some sort of a loudspeaker, or perhaps through some magical thaumaturgy of some sort, you hear a voice pop out, and you see a man sitting across from the ring behind the table. He says, "We've got a really great show here tonight, folks. In our first match tonight, Davey the Stapler Funk is taking on Scotty Head Shoddy in a no-holds-barred match." And these two men are now beating the shit out of each other in the center of this ring. Or at least so it appears. The crowd is cheering, and as you guys kind of walk in...
Tohan, I turn to you, and I'm like, huh?
I don't know. Last time we rushed into an arena, it wasn't good.
I don't see any dragon gods here, so...
Aaron just starts laughing.
Preparing a healing spell.
You hear a man walking through the stand shout out, "Popcorn, peanuts! Popcorn, peanuts! Get your ice-cold beers!"
Beer here.
He just throws a beer all the way at
I
you.
catch it.
He sort of scans you with this little stick, and he's like, kind of hits the stick on his hand for a minute, scans you again, and he's like, "Huh, must be broken. Hey, that one's on me, pal. Don't worry about it." And he goes wandering back off to one of the back stands someplace.
Nice.
The crowd is absolutely lit up. You see several people holding signs. One says "fucking staple him, go Davy." The other one just has Scotty head shoddy with the head in quotes, and it's got a chair just drawn crudely in some sort of like crayon or magic marker. And you notice a lot of these fans are actually kind of young. They're like maybe what we would call teenagers. There's a pretty decent amount of humans here for this being space, which seems kind of odd to you because you didn't know humans were big into traveling in space. Especially since most of you aren't human. And as you look, Davy the Stapler, it's Davy the Stapler Funk. God, it's such a good name. He delivers a vicious power bomb to Scotty Headshotty. And you can see the men are just going through these amazing kind of articulate athletic motions. Roll me a perception check, each of you.
19.
Okay.
Nat 20, so
13.
Nat 20 with 26 altogether.
You perceive.
Okay, Arian,
Period.
Tohan, you are convinced that these two guys are trying to fucking kill each other in this ring. Vanadia and Maggie, you're fairly convinced that this is fake bullshit.
We look at each other and smirk.
I'm screaming for Scotty Headshotty.
Instantly, just a fan.
Are you screaming exterminate?
And it just looks sort of perplexed and just shrugs like whatever.
So Reggie,
Maggie let her know it's fake, or she's like, "Oh, don't worry, dear. I can't tell exactly why they're doing this, but it is fake."
Reggie's robot eyes dilate out. If you guys have ever seen Clash of the Titans, I think it is, where he's got the robot owl. His eyes kind of do one of those things where they go and like just huge irises appear. And he just does like a beeline for one of the concession stands, and you see him come back, and he's got the goofiest hat you've ever seen on, and he's holding a giant thing of cotton candy. And he's just smearing it on his robot face. He's not actually eating any of it. It's just getting really sticky shit everywhere. And it's like some of the crowd sort of like pulls back out of his way as he's tromping up into the middle of the grandstands. And he just plumps his metal ass firmly down. And you hear a loud clang as he hits the aluminum grandstands. And he starts cheering, and he's like, "Oh yes, give him a show, chaps. This is wonderful. What a wonderful competition of sport you're having here."
It's an incredible show. Do you know how much of my money you could get if you put on an actual show like this and and sold tickets?
Ernest smiles fondly at Reggie and very surreptitiously uses predigitation to clean the cotton candy off of him.
Alright, we're gonna desperately try and get Davy up on the top rope here. Davy the Stapler is now up on the top rope and has Scotty in a terrible position where he looks like he's about to jump off and just deliver a devastating blow, stomping both feet down towards him. He's huddled right up.
Yeah, kill him, Davy, kill him.
Let's see. Davy hits him particularly hard with this move, and you hear kind of as you are approaching seats up near the ring, first you're hearing cries of "Down in front! Yeah, take your seats!" And you can kind of hear Scotty go, "Davey, not so hard next time." Davey, meanwhile, gets up and begins to kind of raise his arms, like the crowd's going nuts because everybody's fucking on Davey's side here. scan about the room, and sitting high atop one of the farther bleachers or whatever is a man that you can almost be certain is the Booker, as he watches over these proceedings with great interest and is counting on a remarkably similar device to your abacus. He's counting something, and Maggie, you're fairly certain you know that look. That's the same look you give when you are trying to make sure you get the best deal on something.
Is there a betting window?
Not a visible one.
I don't know if this was that kind of establishment.
I get Reggie's attention and point out whom we think is Booker.
Oh yes, that's wonderful, Miss Arianth. You should go talk to him. And he's just staring dead at the ring, watching the fight, completely engrossed.
I asked Reggie, I explained to him, well, you would be best suited to explain to him what we need.
Oh, that's quite simple. Just tell him that we oh, look at that! We punched him right in the face. That's wonderful. He jumps up and kind of he spills the guy next to him's drink all over him. And the guy turns like he's about to get real pissed and take a swing, and then he looks way up. He's like 6 feet up in the air, and he's like kind of just wipes him off, like wipes the edge of wipes Reggie's leg off where some of his beer spilled on him.
I flip him a few copper.
Aranith uses predigitation to clean him up too.
Reggie says, what were you saying? Certainly, I'm sure it can wait until after the match. Well, yes, you should probably, perhaps introduce yourself. Oh my, this is, yeah, get him! Now Reggie is, like, lost all formalness. He is completely, like, he's just over the top in this. Reggie clearly failed his perception check.
Erin just like shakes her head and says, "All right, come on, let's go."
All right, so while Aranith is going that way, where is everyone kind of positioning themselves?
I'm going with Aranith.
Okay. So she's heading that way. You're heading.
I'm gonna kind of like stand behind her a little bit, like as like her obvious, like you know.
I asked Maggie if she would mind keeping an eye on Reggie.
Sure, yeah. So we'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll follow the captain.
So Maggie can take a seat up there in the
security detail.
Yeah, and you guys are kind of keeping Arian secure here.
We're the ones with the weird scars and stuff that show them that she means business.
The strong silent types, yeah. The announcer is still continuing to call the action, and you hear him as you're approaching the bottom of these bleachers. You can hear him cry out, "Oh, there he goes with his signature patented move, the staple!" And you look over just in time to see Scotty Headshotty being twisted with his arms and legs literally being bent backwards into the shape that like a staple would be, but they're not in any way that looks comfortable, and they're just making an excruciating face at this. And he quickly taps on the side of his arm, and the referee points to the side of Davey, and the crowd goes absolutely batshit. Like, they're throwing stuff. There's like they're throwing empty popcorn containers towards the ring. You see a few streamers go across, like just paper streamers. The announcer turns and says, "Well, what did you think about that, Gil?" And standing beside the announcer that's been talking this whole time is what appears to be some sort of an undead ghoul. And the ghoul leans down to the microphone and goes, and the announcer says, "Well, that's a hot take, isn't it? Well, up next we've got a match scheduled for Fightmaster Kinsasha Yamoto. And later on tonight, tag team action with Layla, Diva of Doom, and Carmen Thunderbolt Dubois. Now it's time for intermission. Please be sure to visit our concession stands for the freshest popcorn and the stickiest cotton candy. If you want a chance to meet any of our superstars after the show, be sure to stick around. Autographed photos are just 11 yenzos."
What's the conversion rate on that to, let's say, like the standard copper piece?
I'd have to look that up. Yenzos. Got it. Space money.
That's on Google, I think.
Yeah, it's got to be, right? Yenzo to copper piece.
It's built into the search
Yeah,
field,
I think so. It's like Bitcoin. Damn it, I didn't think about it. I should have just called it Yenzo coin.
Oh shit.
Retcon.
Retcon it.
So as you approach the bottom of the bleachers, a lot of the crowd kind of is clearing out, and the booker is now clearly looking down at you with an interested look on his face. And very Professor X style, he sort of floats down in his crazy-looking contraption of a chair that he's in. And landing outside the ring, he says,
I go, this guy, he would.
Well, what brings you here to the Extreme Galactic Wrestling match tonight? Here for the action? Or looking to become competitors? And he looks at Tohan up and down, and then looks over at Vanadia. And he says, you two have the look of some strong fighter types, that's for sure.
I glance into the ring and just go,
Ah, well, it just so happens that a few of my acts are running a bit late. It seems that they were on set by some sort of mechanical problems. Something. Anyway, he sort of shakes his head. How would you all like to possibly make a pretty hefty paycheck?
I'm not sure if you can afford to replace your challengers.
He says, yes. Kayfabe, that's good. Here, please, step into my office. And he leads you kind of to the back, into a small area with a few tables and some furnishings. Assuming that you follow.
I follow. I take the back of the line, and I just before we go in, I look over my shoulder and kind of scan around.
Okay. As you get, well, I'll say that as you are walking in, you said kind of you can see a sign that just says locker rooms, office with a little sign pointing to the left. And yeah, as you get in here, you actually do see a couple of the performers in the back. Bonk, bonk.
Nice models.
I
Yeah,
use the mental channel to message Maggie and Reggie and let them know what's going on.
Yeah, and you just catch a glimpse of them, and they're as they're entering into like the locker room area in the back. So as you sit down with the booker, he looks and he says, "So, if you're not here to compete and you're not here to enjoy the show, then what is it that brings you out here to Zorbo's? Not many pilgrims come this way."
What's our gnome's name again?
Nib.
Nib sent us to find you to talk about some repairs for our ship.
Oh, yes, Nib. Fine little fellow. He's quite handy. Yes. It's been many years since I've seen him, though. I heard he took up with a group of pirates on a planet called Turil. Wonder how that ever worked out for him.
Heard of it.
Excuse me. I'm their captain now, along with the ship.
Really? Well then, Miss Captain of the ship.
Erineth.
Yes, Erineth. That's very nice. It's a nice name. Perhaps we could work out some sort of a deal. You see, the fans around here, they're a little, fervent, shall I say? You see, there's nothing worse for my pocketbook than for my matches to be cancelled. Tends to get them out of the stadium before the main event, and the main event's where I make the most money. So perhaps...
How do you make your money?
Oh, well, advertising mostly, dear, but also concession sales, and the occasional side bet. but that's neither here nor there.
Hmm. I never would have guessed.
Aaron
This is-
smirks.
He just kind of looks at you and says, "It pays the bills, dear."
All of them, I presume.
Is the fighting unarmed, or can we use our weapons?
He says, "Oh, see, I knew at least one of you must be interested. So, there's many sorts of matches. For example, the last match was a no-holds-barred match, which means that all moves are legal, even if we normally don't allow them here. We have, sometimes we have sanctioned youth fights and things, and we don't want the kids getting hurt, so we try to be safe about the way we put on our matches, but accidents do occasionally happen, and then there are other matches. Popular formats include the Fatal 4-Way, the Last Man Standing, the many others. We have an intergalactic rumble. That's quite fun. And
These all sound like weird sex moves.
Has Meredith gotten any clue yet that this is fake, or does she still believe it's real?
no, you still think that this is like a real like Fight Club type deal.
So does Tohan.
Yep.
But Vanadia knows.
Vanadia absolutely knows. Like this guy is like what this guy's selling is like a spectacle, not.
He's selling a spectacle, and he's also like, he knows who's gonna lose each time because he's paying him to take the fall. So
Yeah.
he's like gets to take all the side bets and like take all the action on that. Especially when the underdog wins on a whatever huge spread, you know.
He says, here's what I would propose, young lady. I have a singles match with Mountain Anderson, and his opponent, well, quite frankly, he's a chicken shit, and he didn't show up. That's what I really think happened. The tag team match scheduled for tonight between Layla Diva of Doom and her partner, and Carmen Thunderbolt Dubois and her partner that's been waylaid because the other pair were riding together and their car broke down. Their space car that they fly in through space. And also, it seems that Kinsasha Yamamoto's opponent has come down with a serious case of the gout, and the doctor says she really can't perform tonight. We do have the championship match tonight, thankfully. Calvana and Luigi, the wizard, Wong, have both already appeared. I've seen them. They're here, so we've definitely got a championship match. So that's good.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
These challengers that haven't showed, is that because you let them know they were going to be losing?
What? Well, no. I mean,
Aaron starts looking a little confused at that, and
the booker leans way into Vanadia, like kind of very hushedly, and he says, "Listen, your friends are marks. You're not. I can see that. You're smarter than them. But you have to understand, this is a really good racket I'm running here. I can pay you very handsomely to partake in our little charade, if you will."
Well, I asked you a straight question.
I don't generally tell the actors whether or not they're going to win or lose. You see, it's still combat. It's just predetermined who wins and loses. It's really quite hard-hitting stuff.
Well, let me let you in on a secret. I always win.
I see. A future champion, perhaps. Very good. Well then, if you say that is so, then perhaps you would do well facing Fightmaster Yamamoto. She is quite versed in wielding two weapons, such as you do. And he looks at the sword dagger on your sheath, or on your in your sheaths.
How would she do in hand-to-hand combat?
Oh, she's particularly skilled all around, I would say. He says the key is to just have a little chat with her beforehand, work out the details.
Not generally how I operate.
You'll find she's quite agreeable. She's never been one to be afraid of losing. And he kind of winks when he says it. Like, Tohan, you get the impression that he means, like, she's not afraid to lose. Like, she's gonna try. Whereas
Yeah, I think Vanadia's talking shit too.
Yeah.
Erinith's getting more and more suspicious of this whole thing, and she finds the whole thing distasteful to begin with. Can I roll another perception check?
Yeah, go ahead.
24.
Okay, so yeah, you're starting to catch on to what the ruse is here. You're kind of getting to where you're like, wait a minute, are they saying it's fake? Like, that's the thought you actually have in your head.
I turn to Arianth and I give her a wink.
Erinith bursts out laughing.
Yeah, so you have had the same realization at this moment that many 12 and 13-year-olds back in the 90s had. Like, holy shit, this is not. Maybe 10-year-olds, I don't know how old
That was me at 9, and
Yeah.
I think it was 88.
Nice.
Yeah, the old, like, WWF Black Saturday when they were like, hey, wrestling's a cartoon. He looks at Tohan and he says, "You, my good sir, you seem like you might be a worthy foe for the mountain. I tell you what, I'll give you 500 gold just for getting in the ring with him, and another 500 if you can beat him. You see, the mountain's what we like to call a shoot wrestler. He's not very big on taking instructions, so we just sort of let him do his thing."
As long as I can do it armed.
Well, fortunately for you, his match tonight was Extreme Rules. And he says it just like that.
Okay.
Like
Erinith just
when he
keeps
says it, you hear like a
laughing
dun,
and
dun,
laughing.
dun.
Erinith just has the giggles now.
He says, now if I could only find a tag team partner for Layla and one for Carmen, that would be most interesting. They've been in a feud for months now, you see, and what I really need is some fresh faces to pair them up with, so...
Erinith just gives him a look like this says, don't even think about asking her.
Oh, there doesn't happen to be any more of you in your group, does there?
I mean, I got a whole crew full of people on our ship.
As soon as he says there doesn't seem to be any more of you, does there? The scene cuts to Maggie and Reggie in the crowd, which I can only imagine is something like a mom bringing her 10-year-old to a wrestling match. And just like, oh dear, you're like, okay, you just calm down. Reggie's just going, yeah, yeah. Like, there's not even anybody in the ring right now. People are just doing chants. For some reason, they're all yelling "Cena sucks" over and over again. I don't even know what that means. You can hear it all the way in the locker rooms. So, the door opens, and a tall, kind of almost like samurai armor-clad figure wielding a giant mace and a sword that appears to be kind of tongued with flame pokes their head through the door. Very intimidating looking, all done up with face paint, like black and red face paint. Eyes very yellow and kind of cat-like. And this massive woman peeks through the door and says, hey boss, did you find me an opponent yet? He says, excellent. This, Kenyasha, come in, please. This is, I'm sorry, young lady, I didn't catch your name. And he points to Vanadia.
Vanadia.
She looks and she says, oh, great, so, did you want to work out the details of the match yet, or like, I mean, are you like more of a high flyer? Are you like, what do you like to do? Are you like, uh, boss? Am I jobbing for her? I mean, I'll job for her. I don't care. That's fine. And the booker kind of looks and he says, yes, I think tonight we'll have Miss Vanadia pull the old 1, 2, 3 kid. How about that? And Kenyasha sort of looks at you and she goes, oh, you're so lucky. That's such a good match. She says, listen, so all I ask is you let me get in my one move, okay? And like it's real easy. I'll show you how to take it. It's watch. And she takes her hammer and she starts to kind of throw it around your waist, and then she picks you up with very little effort, even with you kind of struggling to resist. And she puts you into some sort of like an upside down headlock, and she just spins you around in a circle, and then she kind of plops you back, like she throws you, but it plops you back down onto your feet, sort of in a way. And she says, yeah, and I do that, but I do it into like the corner of the ring. It's really cool looking. And then after that, I mean, if you got a move, I would say do your finishing move right after that, okay?
Meredith is just laughing at this, like tears are rolling down her face.
To demonstrate my strength, but I grab her by the chest garment and just lift her up. And I said, usually my finisher is I just lift them up in the air like this and just throw them across the stadium.
She says, oh, that's awesome. How far do you think you can get me?
Through the wall, you mean?
Well, listen, so it's kind of early, but boss, do you think we could do the table? And he looks and he just kind of rolls his eyes and he's like, fine, do the table in the second match. I don't care. Just, you guys probably want to get out there quick though, because the crowd's getting restless, and you can actually hear the crowd now. They're getting pretty riled up, and they're just, come on, we want some action. And Reggie's
I
over
interrupt
there, like,
and I say,
yeah.
before we agree to anything, what are you proposing to give us for our people performing?
He says, well, assuming that Nib's involved, he's most likely going to want some metallurgy supplies, probably some soldering stuff, maybe a little bit of mercurial gel.
Will
some
you cover
unstable
all our
plasma.
needs for repairing our ship?
Yes, I'll get my mechanics right out there to him. It'll be fine. Me and Nib go far back anyways. I most likely would be more than willing to help you for a small price, but for this I can most certainly fix up your ship, and I will still pay each of you a hefty sum.
I like it. Let's do it.
I
Like,
use
it's
the
like a
mental
little
channel to let Maggie know what's going on.
A little manga pop-up appears, and it's like traditional quest giver.
Yeah, Maggie's just like, okay, everything seems above board. Everybody seems trustworthy.
Reggie looks over and goes, well, yes, of course they're trustworthy. Look at them. They're
I
clearly
just shrug.
valiant warriors locked in eternal struggle of combat.
I say, I'm going on Nib's word on this one.
All right.
Walking past you goes Davy the Stapler, followed shortly after by Scotty Headshotty. And as they walk into the locker room, they're both looking really mean at each other. As the door closes, they both start laughing and they're clapping each other on the back. And they're like, what a match, man. Yeah, that was great. Hey, boss, what'd you think of the match? Did you see the whole thing? He says, yeah, so it's very good, Davy. Your pay's already been forwarded to your account. And Scotty says, mine too, right, boss? Yes, of course. All right, thanks, boss, because you know how you missed it last week. Yes, we'll be sure to square that away with payroll. I've talked to Tiffany on Tuesday. Thank you.
I grab him on the shoulder.
Which one?
The booker.
The booker, okay.
Yeah. I look him in the eye and I say, just so we're clear, everyone gets paid.
Yes, of course. There's sometimes little payroll hang-ups happen, of course, but yes, I've got cash. It's no worries. We'll just do everything under the table tonight. If you're looking for a recurring gig, I'm sure we can get the paperwork filed on time. W-2s, all that.
All I'm saying is, if this deal is on, everyone gets paid tonight.
Yes, well, yes, hopefully we'll get a late crowd, and, yes, I've got my savings. It's fine.
There'll be enough to go around.
Yes, I'm sure everyone will get paid.
No, I'm sure too.
Yes, of course.
All right, well, let's do it.
Right, and, as Scotty Headshotty walks by, he glances at Tohan, and he's like, "Hey, big guy, saw you cheering for me out there. Thanks, man."
You are a brave warrior, sir.
Yeah, you too.
I bite my lip so hard.
Watch my match. I will fucking behead them.
He looks at the booker, and he's like, "Boss, who's he fighting tonight?" And the booker looks at him and he goes, "He's going up against the Mountain." And Scotty looks at you and makes the "ooh" face, where he kind of puts his hands up and purses his lips a little bit, like he's okay. Good luck to you, buddy. You're a real warrior too. You know that. I'll see your match later.
I turn to the booker and I say, "You do have other mountains, right?"
You honor me.
Yes, I'm sure the fans will love it. I'm sure, quite sure. Plus, we've got a really good television gig here. Sometimes the locals like to watch on TV for an hour or so, and then they'll come in and the place gets real rowdy. The stands fill right up. That'd be great. Oh, I could really use a good concession night tonight. Well, you'd best be going, Vanadia and Kenyasha. The match is scheduled next, so I think they're about to announce you, and sure as anything, you can hear the announcer say, "Coming right up, we've got a special guest fight happening between our very own fight master Kenyasha Yamamoto and an unknown challenger. Stay tuned at home, folks."
I whisper to some, I don't know, whoever's nearby that seems like they would, to whom it may concern, that I'd like to be announced as the blacksmith.
Excellent. Alright, and so some crazy fucking like music hits. Like this is straight out of like 2000s anime, like like that sort of shit. It's all like high pitched guitars, and there's
Nice.
like some not really crazy but cheap pyrotechnics that go off, and out marches Kenyasha to her theme song to the ring, and the crowd, some of the crowd kind of cheers, some of it kind of boos. There's sort of a medium reaction as she marches past the announcer's table and climbs up the top rope. She plants herself firmly on the edge of the apron and does like a power move, brings her hammer down and slams it into the apron of the mat. And word now has gotten over to the desk, and the lights go dim, and the sound of a ringing hammer, just clong, 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 like a hammer hitting an anvil, starts happening. And the crowd starts clapping to it, just in time with this hammer. And announcing, for the first time ever in an EGW ring, Vanadia, the blacksmith. And the booker says, "That's your cue."
All right. I walk out, and just kind of like, sort
Everybody
of
starts cheering. Woo!
like acting like I sort of know what I'm doing. I'm just like kind of fake it till you make it. I'm like just pointing to people in the crowd and stuff as I'm walking out, you know.
Yep. You're like every celebrity that's ever been on a wrestling match. Like, it's like this guy clearly is like thinks that he knows exactly what the fuck's going on, but maybe doesn't. We don't know yet.
Something's just not connecting.
Yeah, it's not right there. The crowd looks a little
Stands
confused,
up
but they're
and
like,
they're like-
yeah, okay, all right, you know, like we're into this. This is cool. It's a cool song. Nothing else, whatever.
He stands up and gives her like the kind of applause you give your like kindergartner at their first concert.
I hear Maggie, and I know it's Maggie, and I'm like, all right, cool. I gotta look cool out here, and I like put my hand up, and I make like I do a produce flame in my hand and like show it to the crowd. I'm like,
Nice. Bring your own pyrotechnics to the wrestling show. Excellent. Tohan, do you exit with them and kind of go out to the ring, or are you hanging out in the locker rooms?
Yeah, I'll go watch the match.
Okay.
Zach, can I roll a performance check to see how much people liked my produce flame?
Yeah, absolutely. That is exactly what you can do. I've even got that
18.
written down. Yeah, so like when you do the flame, the crowd kind of picks up a little bit. They start cheering, and for that, Vanadia, you get 1 fan point, and I'll explain fan points in a little bit.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah, mini games. What's up? Write this down there. Fan points. All right, so Kenyasha is in the ring. She's just kind of standing there stoically, and she's bouncing back and forth, and she's locked eyes with you now as you're walking to the ring. Do me a favor, roll me an acrobatics check to see what you look like when you get in the ring.
I was just gonna ask if I could do an acrobatics check to see how I entered. Oh shit! With my +9, that's a 12.
Okay, so you try to do like the cool jump up to the apron and like slide through the ropes thing. And it is, you make it through, but you do not do it particularly smoothly. You sort of have to like roll in, and then you like do like a push up to stand up a little bit.
Right.
And stand up awkwardly and kind of look around for a second. Give me another performance check.
Okay.
To see what you like, see how you react to, or how the crowd reacts to you.
My awkward.
Yeah, like what, how do you recover from this?
Yeah.
Do you recover from this?
14.
Okay, so you do another little like produce flame, and this time, you know, it kind of goes up a little bit bigger than it did before, and the crowd's like, okay, yeah, and they're still, it's like a steady cheer, but they're not like too elated. They're like, yeah, we just saw this. This is weird. Is this weird? This seems weird. You can kind of hear people muttering a little bit. There's one guy in the back, and he's like, "You suck."
Do I hear that?
Roll me perception. You heard somebody yell something. I don't know if you heard of what they said.
That's a dirty 20.
Okay, yeah, you definitely heard, like, not only did you hear him, you're pretty sure you know which guy it was, and you're like, I'm gonna fucking make a mental note of what he looks like.
Okay, no, if I heard who it was, I spun, like, on a dime and, like, stared, like, bored eyes into him and thaumaturgied, "You suck!"
Excellent. The crowd now begins chanting, "You suck! You suck! You suck!" You don't think they're really directing it at you. It's more just some sort of a weird ritual they have.
I start pumping my fists and chanting it too.
And some of the crowd is now pointing at the guy on the bleachers. The guy looks kind of embarrassed. All right, so you are now.
Can I roll an intimidation check on that guy?
Absolutely, yeah. The announcer is now announcing
it's
the
a
match.
27. It's a critical 27.
Okay. Yeah, he's fucking chugging his beer and looking for the exit. He's just looking around like, shit, how the fuck do I get out of here?
He feels bad for him. Tries to push through the crowd and comfort him, like, hey, don't worry, it's just a performance.
Erin is
And also, you suck.
Erin is just watching this, and she's just like bowled over now, just like on the floor, just dying with laughter.
So Arianth and Tohan, where did you guys go to? Are you just standing by the locker room still, or did you go sit down with Reggie and Maggie, or?
I assume I followed
Maggie and Reggie. Yeah.
I followed Booker to wherever he went to go watch the fight.
Okay, he resumes his post up here on this one. Somewhere's up here. Just drop him. Hey, wow, he stayed.
Zach, did we long rest since last combat? Maybe healed up.
We haven't long rested.
I don't
No,
believe you've long rested. No, you're still. This is like
We
towards.
short rested because I rolled some hit dice.
Yes, you definitely short
Because we
rested.
said we had enough time for a short rest.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm not down that much, so I guess I would have handily healed myself.
Maggie's also been doing her like inspiring leader thing. Basically, any 10-minute spot they've got, if they're not at 19 temporary hit points, she's talking their ear off until they are.
Yeah, you know what I get the inspiring leader from Maggie as being? It's literally her giving you recipes. She's just telling you how she makes things, and you're like, whoa, that's
all I
cool.
need.
That's awesome.
Like,
so you take the marshmallow and you put it inside the crescent roll. That's fucking wild.
Just an eighth a teaspoon of black cardamom, and that's wow. Okay, wow, amazing.
Yeah,
I could also I can accompany Maggie while she's speaking with a song of rest that gives an extra 1d6 too on a short rest.
Okay. So yeah, you guys can all add a d6 then for the short rest, and yeah, Maggie's definitely had an opportunity within the last 10 minutes or so.
Or just me, yeah. Like as soon as they got back on the ship.
So the referee is now in the center, in between Vanadia and Kenyasha. And he says, loudly, all right, I want to see a good, clean fight. Remember, this is a no-weapons event, so we're going to have to ask you to place your swords and your hammers and other swords outside the ring somewheres, please. Any use of weapons will result in an immediate disqualification, and your opponent will be the winner. This is a match for one fall, to a count of 3, by pinfall.
I have a
submission.
quick question. Does the ground count as a weapon?
He sort of looks at you and he's like, looks over at Kenyasha and he says, who's the new guy? He sort of whispers it out of the corner of his mouth. Kenyasha says, oh, don't worry, I'm jobbing for him tonight. I'll do all the work. He says, all right, whatever, kid. All right, let's get it on, and the bell rings. Vanadia, roll me an initiative check.
23.
23, okay. Alright. So as Kenyasha begins to approach you, you guys meet in the middle of the ring, and here's what is you may do whatever you would like at this point, unarmed. Typically speaking, not sure how familiar you are with wrestling, but things happen in different ways. Kenyasha approaches you with her arms extended, one up, one down, as though she is offering to grapple with you. So how would you get the initiative, so how would you like to do this?
I grab her forearm and pull her past me into the ropes.
Okay. Roll me an athletics check.
17.
Okay. She is easily thrown over into the turnbuckle.
That was all belt, by the way. I rolled a 3.
She hits it with surprising speed, almost running into it with your throw. She slams the ring, and the ring actually rocks a little bit. She hits it so hard. And she sort of looks at you a little wide-eyed and then smiles. She says, oh, this is going to be fun.
I do the I'm in my fighting stance, and I do the come here hands thing, All
right. So I'm gonna need you to describe how you want to attack her unarmed, and roll me a unarmed attack with your regular D20 plus any modifiers.
I'm going to run and like take out her legs, like tackle sort, or not tackle, but like the shoulder strike and sort of like barrel through her legs to send her over my back.
Like a chop block. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, roll me the attack roll.
That's a 32.
32. Okay. So when you do this, you immediately hear something crack in her leg. Like a loud crack, and she flips over you hard. And you hear her kind of let out a ah! And she is now flat on her back. As a bonus action, you may attempt to pin her.
Okay, I do pin her, and then do I have a free action as well?
Yes, any non-combat action.
I say in her ear, I said, are you okay?
Okay. I'm going to roll a quick. Oh yeah, cool. She got a natural 20 on her saving. She kicks out at 1 as soon as you pin her. And not only does she kick out, she actually reverses it and rolls you into a what they call a small package roll up, so that your knees are pinned up by your face and you are now on your shoulders. Roll me a strength saving throw to see if you can kick out, and if so, what number you kick out at. Oh yeah,
32.
So you kick right back out at 1 too. And she springs up, and you are also able to spring up with that roll. And now you are facing each other.
How's the crowd? Is the crowd going
Yep.
insane right now?
The crowd is on their feet. This is some good catch wrestling. They've never seen stuff like this out of a new person really before. Usually the new people come in and they just kind of get the shit kicked out of them. You gain an additional fan point, bringing you up to 2. Kenyasha will also gain a fan point. Here's how fan points work. This is the fun part. When you get a fan point, or the crowd cheers, you're allowed to take 1 action at any point not on your turn. Just say I want to use a fan point as like an extra reaction, I guess would be what it would be.
Amazing.
It's sort of like a power-up meter is the way that it works. If you have 5 fan points, I will let you do a essentially finishing move that will deliver. They will wipe out the other person's fan points, and will give you advantage, or will give them disadvantage, we will say, on their saving throw, making it much easier for you to pin them. And you
Awesome.
can kind of tell now, this is sort of a competition, it seems like, just literally predetermined. It's like, you're still fighting, but there's more to it. She now takes her turn. She charges at you and attempts to tackle you. I'm going to need you to make a constitution check to see if you get the wind knocked out of you by her shoulder.
Saving throw here?
Yeah, constitution saving throw. Save.
Nice. 28.
Okay. So yeah, you are not knocked, stunned, sorry, is the term. You are not stunned, but you are driven into the ring post. So that's going to be her kind of wrestling open. And she is going to attempt to strike you with a regular attack roll. Where dice go? Does a 22 hit you?
It does.
Okay. So you're going to take 1 point of damage, not much. It's a glancing blow. And she says, "Ooh, sorry, I might have swung a little hard there." She kind of whispers it to you.
I just laugh.
All right. So in the crowd, Reggie is now screaming, "Kill her, Vanadia! Rip her fucking arms off!"
I kind of like just look over my shoulder like, Jesus.
Maggie's preparing to physically restrain Reggie if it comes to that.
Aranith focuses on where they are in the crowd and just continues to laugh and keep an eye on Booker.
You can now kind of see over the Booker's, as you're standing next to him, you can kind of see what the Booker seems to be working on is like a flat sort of stone tablet with a very illuminated screen in the center of it, and he seems to be clicking rapidly on various sets of numbers, some of them turning bright green, some of them turning red, and he's quickly swiping away the red ones, and he's doing other things.
Is he on
for the
Tinder
green
right
ones.
now?
Money Tinder. Yeah, he seems to be doing something that involves me. Like he seems excited whenever the green ones start filling up his screen, and he gets a little angry whenever the red ones fill up his screen. If you had to guess from your earlier conversation, this is sort of how he controls the incoming and outgoing bets. And
Gotcha.
there is a lot of them going on. So like he definitely seems to be doing work right now. And he's trying to make small talk, but he's not. He's like, oh, yes, yeah, yep. Like anytime you
Man,
mention
I'd love to see what the odds are right now.
All right. Vanadia, it's gonna be your turn again. You have 2 fan points right now.
Cool. Let's see. Trying to think how I want to. All right. I want to climb up the turnstile and drop an elbow.
All right. Roll me. Let's see. Roll me an athletics for climbing the turnstile effectively. That's gonna be just like a DC 10. It's not that hard.
Okay,
to
so
climb
that's a
up it.
30.
Okay, so you're easily you don't even climb these things. You literally jump, and both feet just land
Just
on
like
the ring
step
ropes.
up there.
Yeah, you just a single high jump, and you're just up there.
Okay. Can I, in that case, then can I also just like wink at someone in the crowd when I do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anybody in particular, or just like a person, just whoever?
I don't know. Just whoever like is like whoever I just like make eye contact with as I look up and just like
Yeah,
someone who
there's
seems like they're like really into it.
like a college age girl in the front row with like
Yeah,
a
exactly.
Kenyasha shirt on, and she's kind of staring at you, and like you give her
Yeah.
a wink, and her eyes get all wide, and she's like,
I have a new favorite wrestler.
yeah. So roll me an attack roll for the elbow.
All right. That's gonna be a 32.
32. Okay. This elbow is delivered straight into Kenyasha's the bridge of her nose.
That's 10 bludgeoning. All right.
She is not dazed by the attack. She does take a step back from this, about maybe a foot or two. And you land sort of right in front of her, so you guys are still engaged. But blood explodes from her face when you do this, and she's now covered in red. All down the front of her armor is just it's everywhere, and there's blood in the ring, like on the nice white mat and stuff. And now the crowd starts chanting, "Blood, blood, 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 blood!"
Oh God!
Reggie's
I just kind of look at him like,
blood. Reggie really likes pro wrestling. He's a big fan. Turns out British fantasy robots are really into pro wrestling. The crowd is now absolutely going ape shit, and you look over and you actually see, several of you see, that the entrance where you all came in, there's now like a line forming where people are coming in. There's a queue. There's people just entering the building, almost as if more people were hearing that there's a fucking match in the arena, man. Like, you know, this is still like a full-size castle, so this is just one small part of it. And it's kind of like the galactic truck stop of this area, it seems. And there's people of all types coming in here. There's people in business suits. There's people that are dressed in complete like coveralls, like farm duds almost. So there's a massive crowd now pouring in, and the stands are starting to fill up quite rapidly. You get 2 fan points for breaking her nose, and you still have well, I guess the wink would technically be your free action. It is now Kenyasha's turn. She is going to take a step back, and she is going to attempt to hit her special move on you, where she picks you up by the head upside down and sort of spins you around a couple of times. She says, "Ready? Do you allow her to do the move to you?"
Yes.
Okay. So she picks you up, spins you around once.
I have a really hard time with it at first. At first I'm like shaking my head, and I'm just like, all right. And then I just like nod my head.
She's like, "Oh, okay, I did just break your nose."
Yeah.
So she struggles for a minute on the third spin around, where you can kind of feel her losing her balance, and she says, "All right, now." And she kicks her feet flat out from underneath her, bringing both of you down, and yet you land on her arm, absorbing the blow, dealing no damage to you at all, although you're pretty sure you heard something in her arm crack too this time. She's like, "Yeah, that was perfect." The crowd is now flipping out. They are absolutely stomping up and down on the bleachers. Kenyasha gains 2 fan points from this. And you can hear chants in the back starting, "Kenyasha, Kenyasha." On the other side of the stadium, you start to hear, "Vanadia, Vanadia." And there's like this alternating chant thing going on now. Alright. It is your turn. So how would you like to go about striking her?
Let's see. I mean, how did we end up physically with that last round?
So when you both dropped, you were actually both prone, about 5 feet away from each other. The ref is standing over here, and he's begun a slow count. 1, 2, 3. If I get close enough, you can actually see the count. Ready? 1, 2, 3. He's counting to 10 because you guys are both down. That's a wrestling thing, I promise. Alright, so you are prone, so you would have to use half your movement to stand up.
Okay.
But you still have some movement. And in case I didn't mention, these squares are 5 feet each, so the ring is about 20 by 20. And those ring ropes look really springy.
I'm going to use the rest of my movement to run into the ropes and bounce off of them, and then come back and clothesline. What's her face here?
Kenyasha, fight master Kenyasha. All right, so 5 foot, 10 foot, and you're back to her essentially, and get through to right about here. Just roll me your attack roll, but roll it at a +1 for bouncing off the ropes.
Okay.
What a cool mechanic, right? Somebody with high
Pretty
movement
cool.
speed could actually add a couple things to it.
So 27 in that case.
So you definitely hit. Roll me damage for this one.
It just says 10. It just says 10 bludgeoning damage.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you hit, and due to the little bit of extra speed off the ropes, you absolutely fucking turn her inside out. You hit her so hard that she does a complete backflip and lands face down on the mat. And the crowd now jumps to their feet, screaming, cheering, "Pin her! Pin her! Pin her!" You gain 1 more fan point, putting you at 5. Do you have an idea for a special finishing move you would like to do, as she is downed right now and completely susceptible to it?
I could just do what I said I was gonna do. Just pick her up and throw her out of the stadium.
Okay. Yeah. So which direction do you want to throw her? You want to throw theirs towards the Booker, towards your friends, or one of the other ones? Or opposite?
Toward my friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you pick her up, and you chuck her noticeably at the bleachers. Roll me a d20 to see how many feet you throw her. Add your strength modifier to the 20, or to the d20 roll.
28.
Jesus. Okay, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So she lands on top of this guy in the stands, absolutely crushing him. He is fucking flattened. I mean, this is just like some poor fucking peasant schmuck. And she sails past Maggie, like literally over Maggie's head, and smashes the shit out of this guy. And Maggie, you can kind of hear her muttering, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? I'll buy you a new beer. I'm really sorry." And the crowd goes fucking nuts, and the ref comes running over, grabs your wrist and holds it high in the air, and the announcer says, "We have a new EGW winning competitor with a record of 1-0, Vanadia, the blacksmith," and the crowd's fucking going nuts.
Aaron starts going, cheering and going,
"What?" The Booker is sort of blinking. It's like, not bad, not bad. It was kind of 50-50, but I made some money. Okay. Well, that pays the bills. Good, good. Well, your friend did quite well in there, I'd say. The ref is now quickly ushering you off the stage, or off the out of the ring, Vanadia. He sort of is like escorting you over to where your weapons were and stuff, and he's kind of cleaning the blood a little bit. Like a few guys with mops running, and they're like mopping the ring. And around the ring starts walking a pair of what look to be sort of the bottom half of them are humanoid legs, and the top half appear to be fish. And the fish are holding up signs that say, "Next match, the mountain." They're sort of going, like doing like dolphin cries as they walk by. The crowd's sort of like, you hear one guy in the crowd like will let out a wolf whistle, like a.
Maggie runs back to where the Kinunasha landed on the guy and checks on them both and asks if they need healing. She's like, she says to the fighter, she's like, I'm so sorry. This is her first. I don't think she understood it's supposed to be, wasn't supposed to be this painful.
Kinyasha looks up at you and she's like, "Oh no, that's quite all right. I've been through much worse than this. This is."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. And as she stands up, you can see that her arm is clearly broken and just kind of hanging there, like completely limp.
Offers both on the heel.
Okay, the guy behind her he's out cold. She's still telling him she'll get him a new beer too. She's like, I promise I'll get you a beer from the concessions. They don't charge me. It's fine."
Zach, once they like ushered me off the stage and I got my stuff back on and whatever, I was gonna start working my way back over toward them, like Maggie and Kinyasha.
Okay.
Aaron, while takes the moment while Reggie might not be quite as entranced by what's going on, and just the like to ask him to check with Nib about what's going on with the ship and repairs.
He says, "What's that? The ship? Yeah. Oh yes, yes. Yes. I'm sure the ship's fine. I'm sure I'm fine."
I sternly tell Reggie to check in.
"Oh yes, of course, Captain Arians." And he sort of goes into his boop beep boop smooth mode, and you can hear him for fucking whirring and gears are spinning and stuff. And he says, "Oh yes, Nib says that he's quite far along right now. He's installing something called a thermocoupler. I'm not familiar with
Is he
the
getting
term."
all the help he needs?
"Oh yes, yes. It seems that the Booker has sent over several of his associates to assist with whatever Nib needs gathered from the junkyard here. He's sending them to and fro as one would."
Thank you, Reggie. Feel free to continue to enjoy the show.
Oh, yes, thank you, Captain. Rousing good time, isn't it?
I turn to Booker and say thank you for coming through the way you said you would.
Yes. Oh, yes, of course. I always honor my word.
I continue to stay there with him now, just in case.
Vanadia, you take a seat in the bleachers, and just as you do, Kenyasha goes walking past you with kind of a look of not like she's looking at you with contempt, but as she walks by, she winks.
I stand up and approach her.
She sort of backs up just a little bit and then stands her ground.
I put my hand out like as a gesture,
All right, the whole crowd dies down. It's real quiet now, and everybody's watching. And she sort of looks at you for a minute, and then she takes your hand and shakes it, and the whole crowd erupts in cheers. And you hear the announcer go, "What a show of sportsmanship, ladies and gentlemen! Isn't that incredible? Gil, what do you think?" Yes, I think so too, Gil. Anyways, on to our next match.
I pull her in, and while they're cheering, I say in her ear, I need to talk to you when you have a chance.
She says, "Yeah, meet me in the locker room." And she immediately turns and kind of stalks off, waving to the crowd now with a little bit of a smile on her face, like holding her ribs with her non-broken arm, which you just shook. And she disappears off into the locker room. The announcer continues on. He says, "Now, for a special treat, ladies and gentlemen, I know you've all been waiting for our mid-card match. We have for you another newcomer here. Tohan, what did you want them to announce you as?"
The murder lizard.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
should have known. He says,
That's just awesome.
Yeah.
weighing in, unarmored at over 300 pounds, 6 feet something tall, coppery scales, and all, Tohan, the murder lizard Asir. What would your theme music that you requested be?
I have no idea. Something jaunty.
Like it's like the theme from Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
That is jaunty as fuck.
Yeah. So you skip happily down to the ring, I assume.
Then I strut around.
Yeah, absolutely, excellent. So as you go walking around, how are you interacting with the crowd as you go around the ring?
Yeah, I'm basically just like holding my giant cleaver axe above my head, like pumping my arms.
Nice. The crowd's starting to eat this up. They're like, all right, yeah, look at this guy.
And as I hear him cheering, I cup my hand to my ear, listen.
The music suddenly switches to "I am a real American." All you young folks, all 13 subscribers we have out there, that's the Hulk Hogan theme song. You wouldn't know about it. You're too young.
I don't know about it, so there we go.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I'm not too young, and I didn't know about it.
It's Hulkamania, baby. God.
I knew about the hand cupping being the Hulk Hogan thing.
And yeah, so Tohan, as you're marching past the announcer, he says, "What a brave young lad we have here. He is about to enter the most extreme match in our roster. This is an extreme rules match. That means there are no rules. Weapons, completely legal. Any sort of brawling outside the ring, no countouts, no disqualification. The only way to win, to make the other man give up."
I turn to the rest of our party, and I say, "Did someone explain to Tohan that this is fixed?"
Nope.
Absolute silence. Just nobody talks.
Oh, fuck.
That's even better. That's the best.
Yeah,
Aranith-
Venedius
can-
just looks forward and just goes, "Oh fuck."
Can Aranith hear this on the channel, or is this just what conversation between them over there?
I sort of assume that Reggie has sort of maintained this channel between all of you. So
Then
yeah,
Aranith is just
Maggie's,
Aranith continues to giggle.
Maggie's sitting next to Reggie, asks to make sure that he's still communicating and make sure he lets Tohan know.
Oh man, he's gonna go down. It's fixed. Fuck. He was gonna go down anyways.
I just don't want you to behead anyone. You don't have to.
Oh, that's my finishing move. I'm gonna do that, and you'll see.
so this is when the fog begins rolling in. Just somewhere somebody has invented or reinvented a fog machine in this place, clearly, or there's some sort of magical fog occurring. But the entire room is now got like knee-level fog all around it, and you hear a loud gong. This gong, gong, and entering, not from the locker room, but from one of the other doors, is what appears to be the largest Giff you have ever seen. Now, you've seen these guys before. The ring announcer says, weighing in at 520 pounds, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mountain Anderson. And in marches this giant hippo man towards the ring on a beeline. Tohan, are you in the ring as of now?
Oh yeah, I'm in the ring, and I'm eyeballing the opponent. I fucking hate gifts, so.
Yeah, I know. I remember you said something, so I figured this would be fun.
Ever since that Creeve and Hampo ran off on us.
So the mountain looks at the ring, grabs the top of the ring post that stands at 12 feet high, and simply pulls himself up onto the ring, climbs up to the top rope, and stands there, staring at you, as this gong is just sounding, and the fog is all around. The ref looks and he says, "You know the rules. There are no rules." Looks over at you, Tohan, and he says, "Good luck, motherfucker. I'm out of here." And he jumps out of the ring. The bell rings immediately, and I need you to roll initiative.
Zach, I want to start making my way through the crowd toward the booker.
21.
Okay. So the mountain jumps down from the... actually, no. You go ahead and do your thing, and we'll see what happens. He's standing on top of the ring post as we speak. Vanadia, yes, you can begin moving towards the booker while this is going on.
Well, first I'm gonna rage.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go off the ropes on the other side and kind of like build up momentum and just like double fucking recklessly swing my Heartrender glaive at him.
Okay. So you move a total of about 25 feet, and you are swinging, and you are able to reach about his belly button with this thing. Go ahead and make me an attack roll.
30 to hit.
Okay, that hits. Roll me damage.
I'm gonna re-roll that. And it's the same. Let's see. Plus 23, so that is 31 damage.
Okay.
32 damage.
So you slam this axe into the center of his stomach, right above your head, and it hits him hard. And he looks down at you with absolute malice in his eyes. Like he fucking hates you. He says, "Is that all you've got?"
Oh, that one didn't tickle you? Fucking attack him again. 25 to hit.
That hits.
33 more damage.
Okay. You smash again into him, this time into his side, just off from where the last hit was. He looks down at you, and he kicks you in the face as a reaction. Does a 19 hit you?
Yep.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. You take 20 damage from the giant boot that is planted as firmly as you've ever felt in your face.
Okay. Halved, right? Bludgeoning.
Yep, and it's bludgeoning damage.
All right.
Nice.
He then takes his turn, wherein he quickly draws a pistol from his hip and shoots it at you at point blank range.
Jesus.
Means he's going to be rolling with advantage for this. Because he basically just fucking put it up to you and pulled the trigger. That's going to be 23, 22, 22 to hit. So that hits. Let's see. Shit. My DMG over here. I need firearm damage. We're gonna... He does 21 piercing damage.
Okay.
And as soon as the gunshot goes off, a few people in the crowd kind of scream like, "Ah!" He then jumps past you, provoking an opportunity attack, and lands about 10 feet away. So you can take your opportunity attack if you would like.
21 to hit.
That just hits, yep.
I know I rolled that. Hold on. 32 damage.
Okay. So yeah, you're able to jab upwards with your heart cleaver, and this time you kind of when he jumps over you, you jab straight fucking up. And I'm not going to describe exactly where it hits, but it's a very uncomfortable place. And you're pretty sure he felt it that time, because he kind of, when he lands, he sort of does the little like somebody kicked him in the tailbone sort of maneuver.
How's your gooch?
He turns and he's like, "I'll gooch you."
Gucci goo.
The crowd is now like sort of apprehensive, but they're starting to kind of clap a little bit. And this crowd is now pretty packed. There's still people streaming in. The Booker is frowning, and Arianth, you notice over his shoulder this time that there's a lot of red on his screen.
What's the matter?
And says, "Well, usually it's pretty one-sided when the mountain gets in the ring, but your companion's giving quite a show here, so well, I'm sure I'll make it all up on the concessions and the ticket sales. It's no problem."
I say, give it time. Tohan will win their hearts.
Yes, it's not so much their hearts as their wallets that I'm worried about, but yes, he's putting on an excellent show.
That's what I mean.
Have I made my way over there yet?
Yeah.
Or?
So you make your way up the bleachers, and you're now standing by Arianth.
I wanted to say to him, this mountain puts on quite a show for your crowd.
Yes, I don't think the mountain's very interested in the accolades, though. I genuinely think he just relishes hurting people.
I imagine he generates a lot of income for you.
Well, he generates some income. He's just very predictable income, that's all. Doesn't lose very often, if you know what I mean, and by that I mean he's never lost.
Would he be hard for you to replace if you did lose him? If he were to lose?
And the booker kind of looks at you and he says, "What are you getting at?" And then we're going to cut back to Tohan. Tohan, it is your turn.
They're gonna call you the fucking fountain after I cut your head off.
The whole crowd goes, "Oh!"
23 to hit.
All right, Tohan, you gained a fan point in the last round, and 23 hits. He has a target AC of 21.
Reroll that. Oh, that's much better. Let's see. 10 more plus another 10. 3. 42 damage.
Okay. You slash the shit out of him. The Giff does appear now to be bleeding somewhat because there is blood running out from under his kind of scale mailed armor. And he looks at you and says, "I'll fucking kill you."
That was always the plan. I rolled a 18 to hit. But I'm gonna use a luck point here, and I rolled a
Nice.
natural one, so I missed up probably on the second one unless I hit him with an 18.
Nope. 21 to hit. So yeah, you're in close combat there. So that being
And I am attacking recklessly, so he gets advantage on his attacks.
okay. So he's going to try to hit you with his pistol that he shot you with. He's just going to try and club you with it.
I'm having trouble hearing you, Zach. I'm sorry.
He's going to try to club you with the pistol that he was holding.
Okay.
16 plus 7 is a 23 to hit.
Oh yeah, my AC is 16.
Okay.
I'm not hard to hit.
So yeah, he bashes you upside the head with the butt of the gun. That's going to be... I don't have a D. I do have a D10. 10 damage even. And then he is going to try to bounce off the ring ropes. And he's going to try and deliver that large boot of his to you as well.
How much damage did he do with the clubbing me?
He just smacked you upside the head for 10 damage.
Okay, so 5.
Yep. And he's going to try to kick you. This is like one of his power moves here. He doesn't have advantage, you said. Neither one of those hits. So yeah, he whiffs it with the boot. You manage to step out of the way as he comes at you, and he ends his movement right there behind you.
I make a big show laughing at him.
Excellent. The crowd kind of begins to let out a murmured chuckle as you sort of like duck out of the way and give like a little finger wag, like ha ha ha. Of course, while you're finger wagging, you're still facing away from him, giving him just enough time to turn around. So it is your turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna base him an attack.
Okay.
Recklessly Great Weapon Master. 25 to hit, or 30 to hit actually, but yeah.
Yep, that definitely hits.
Ooh, baby. That's another 42 damage on that first hit.
Okay. This time when you strike him, the axe hits him just under a soft part of the armor, and now the Gift's eyes get a little bit big. He sort of looks down at his side, and he attempts to grab your axe. So roll me a regular strength check, just d20 plus your strength modifier.
Okay. I get a saving throw or check?
Just a check. Because it's going to be a contested.
I don't think I get
check.
advantage. Wait, I do get advantage on strength checks when I'm reaching.
Yep.
First one's a 22. Second one's a natural 20 for 26.
Okay. So he tries to grab it and kind of hold on to it, and you are easily able to pull your axe back from him. And as you do, a large patch of his intestines sort of pull out of his side, like along with your axe, like just guts are now spewing out of him. And he looks up and he's like, "You remind me of someone. Did you ever meet my cousin?"
Was his name Han Folk?
"Yes.
Oh, we met.
Yes, he said if I ever met you to tell you you're a little bitch." And then he tries to grab you.
Do I get a second attack or?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You can take your second attack.
I already rolled all this stuff. It was it was gonna be a 21 to hit, and then I did another 40 damage.
Okay. So yeah, he's going to attempt to grab you right as a reaction to your first attack. However, you are able to fire off that second attack before he can actually do so. And you fucking cut his head off, like clean off. This thing goes sailing into the crowd, to the semi-delighted screams of some onlookers are like really into this. Some other ones are like, "What the fuck?"
I grab him by like the front of the shirt, and then I vomit a bunch of acid down the neck hole.
The announcer goes, "Fatality."
I lean to the booker and I say, "I was trying to warn you."
The booker doesn't say a fucking word. He's just clenching his jaw. And Vanadia and Arianth, you can both now see his fucking like tablet thing that he's looking at is just blinking, flashing red, zipping by as people are collecting, or as people are sort of, they've placed money on this underdog Tohan, and he is now losing tons of money, it would seem.
Yeah.
And this guy is
I'm
just
like,
staring at his
running.
tablet. He's gripping it so hard, and suddenly he kind of just flexes a little bit, and the screen just cracks in half. It's like, oh well, there's always more money to be made later.
We'll forego any payments. Just make sure our ship gets fixed.
Yes, as I said, I always keep my word.
Let's
Now,
talk to
I take the guy's guns too.
okay. So yeah, you gain a single shot pistol, like a muzzle loading pistol. It is a very large caliber. You are only probably able to wield it because of the strength that you actually have. Anybody with like a normal amount of strength would probably have a very hard time even picking the thing up because it's so oversized. Like, it's essentially like a gun for an almost giant. Like a hill giant could comfortably use it.
I asked Maggie if it's beyond her power to bring back the mountain fortitude, because she does kind of feel bad that ended up dying because of this.
Yeah, for sure. Maggie's freaked out, and she kind of grabs Reggie and is like, "Hey, let's go talk to the booker. I don't think that went the way it should have."
Reggie goes, What are you talking about? That seems perfectly logical. The two men entered in a duel to the death, and Tohan won.
I don't know that it was meant to be to the death.
He said extreme rules, Miss Maggie. I think I think they were both quite well informed.
He's like, "Well, let's go talk to the booker," and tries to pull him along.
Oh, all right, but I don't want to miss the next match. Layla Diva of Doom is supposed to really be something to watch, and Thunderbolt Dubois, well, she's a real looker.
Aerith says in his head, interrupting him, "There's a very good seat, a very good view from where we're sitting."
Oh yes, I suppose it would be nice to mingle with the the aristocrats. So you guys head over. Reggie's over there with you. Tohan, you
Yeah,
are
I
you
go.
are still parading about the ring. The crowd is just fucking going ape shit. They're like throwing roses at you and shit.
Yeah, I'm picking up like handfuls of guts and holding them up and stuff.
The announcer's just going on. He's like coming up with all these monikers for you. He's like the man who killed the mountain. Like, yo, what would you call such a fierce warrior?
Maggie, when she gets to the Booker, introduces herself and as a cleric of Hestia and tells him she can bring the gift back and tells him about the material components.
He says, "Oh, don't worry, my dear.
I don't know if I want to bring him back just for me to kill him again.
It will all be taken care of. I have a team of medics back in the locker room, and you can see that these like halflings are coming out now with a stretcher, and they're putting the body of the Giff onto the stretcher. They're like shoveling the intestines back up on top of the body and stuff. One of them goes off into the crowd, and the person that was sitting with the head in his lap now, like kind of holding it, looking up at everybody, and like whoa, look at me, I got the head. The halfling grabs the Giff's head and yanks it out of his hands unceremoniously and scowls at the guy and goes walking back down. He's like, "Don't touch the performers." Walks down to the stretcher and places the Giff's head on top of its body, so that it's just sitting on its stomach. And the two halflings strain and struggle and sort of get the thing up about 2 inches off the floor, and they're walking all bent over, and they're carrying this Giff back to the locker room.
Just do like the bit where the stretcher breaks, but they don't notice and keep going, or
No, I will say, as a DM, I'm partially tempted to be like, surprise, he's undead, and then he gets up off the stretcher. I mean, he was using the Undertaker's entrance music, so I don't know. But no, he is eventually dragged into the bag. Like, it ends up with, like, the one in the back has to set the back half down, and they both just each take half the front, and they're just dragging the ass end of this thing through the, like, leaving a big blood streak all through the auditorium. An announcement comes on over the PA, and they say, "Remember to check back in on Thursday, folks. Ma Duke's bingo is going to be here. It's going to be a rousing good time." He announces the next match. He says, "Tonight's tag team match between Layla the Diva of Doom and her partner and Carmen Thunderbolt Dubois has been canceled. However, they will be putting on a singles match for you tonight against each other. So we've got that to look forward to, folks. We're going to take a short break now. Remember, our concession stands are in the corner." Reggie, as soon as he hears concession stands, is like, "I'll be right back," and just tears ass to the concession stand again. Comes back. He's got popcorn this time with a giant big gulp soda. And he's wearing a t-shirt and got a goofy hat on.
At this point, Erin just rolls her eyes. It's getting a little old.
Maggie's very intrigued by the soda thing, which she's never heard of before, and
Yeah.
goes to get her.
He's like, "It's so exciting. It's like fizzy water. Just try it. There's sugar in it. It's very sweet."
She tries some and immediately buys a big gulp for herself.
As one does.
He's like, "This is disgusting. I need one."
roll for diabetes.
All of a sudden, Maggie starts bouncing off the walls, wanting to cook everybody a huge banquet.
Diabetes.
Yeah. What is this strange potion? Coca-Cola. Original
It's the 1920s
recipe.
version.
Yeah, it's the original recipe.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tohan, you are free to leave the ring and do what you will.
Yeah, I guess I'll head back to my friends, which are by the Booker.
Okay. So you head up, and the Booker looks at you and he says, "Well, that was quite a show, young man. Would you have any interest in taking on more work with me in the future.
Not right now, but I'll keep it in mind.
Ah, yes, excellent. Well, we'll always be here, I'm sure, until we aren't. So he calls for the next match. And coming to the ring is a mechanized sort of warrior woman. And out of the back comes Thunderbolt Dubois flying into the arena on what appear to be some sort of manufacturer like costume wings, but she's able to kind of glide out, and you can just make out the outline of like a thin wire attached to a ring around her back, so it's some sort of like a Peter Pan gimmick for her. And she flies out, and they begin staging their battle. Now the place is very packed, like it's super full. And they begin giving these promos back and forth, like these kind of like promoting themselves, saying that they're the baddest in all the EGW. And this is when you hear some sort of commotion coming from the locker room. It sounds pretty violent back there, we'll say. And you can see Davey the Stapler comes running out of the room, and he's like, "We've all got to get the hell out of here! Ah!" And he takes off running out the door. He is shortly thereafter followed by Fightmaster Kenyasha, who is kicked straight out of the door and lands flat on her back, and has a trickle of blood coming down her mouth, as though whatever just hit her really fucking hard. Go to him. Oh, super loud.
Erin quickly gets on her broom, sensing that something might be going on.
Yes, now 2 more wrestlers come running out of the locker room as well. They both run over immediately to Kenyasha, and you hear the booker say, "Luigi, Calvina, what the fuck are you doing? Get back in the locker room. You're gonna blow it." They say, "We've got bigger problems than the match, boss." And that is when, from the locker room doors, emerges a large creature. Sort of the face of a bull, the wings of a fairy, and some badass Wolverine claws. It cries out, "I am Goristro, and all who witness my wrath shall perish." Now at this point, the 2 other wrestlers that just came out stand in between the creature and Kenyasha. The booker says, "See that man? That's Luigi, the wizard. He's our current EGW champion. Whatever the fuck this monster is, I'm sure he can handle it." Luigi charges the monster with a dagger in his hand, and he does some straight fucking ninjutsu stuff. Climbs up this thing, starts stabbing it. He stabs it 3 or 4 times. He's like got it by the collar on the back of the thing in between its wings. He's like stabbing down on the top of its head. And this thing just goes, sorry, I can't demonstrate. I forget I'm not on video. Puts his hand straight up, and his claws go straight through Luigi's chin into his skull. And he just simply pulls Luigi down over his shoulder and flumps it on the floor. The other wrestler lets out a kind of cry of anguish, and as he does, shapeshifts and becomes a much larger, what appears to be a werewolf, and begins charging at this thing, biting and gnashing at it. And again, the same result. This thing is just a beast. It swats away this werewolf, who lets out a yelp as it slams into the stands. And now 2 dead wrestlers lay in front of it. Meanwhile, Fightmaster Kenyasha is on the floor, kind of prone. You hear the announcer say, "Who is this new challenger? Could this be the original opponent that was supposed to face the mountain?" And he's sort of looking all confused, and he's looking up at the Booker, and the Booker is shaking his head no. And he's giving like the shrug emoji, like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. It's like, we'll see what dastardly deeds he has in plan for EGW. Gil, what do you think this new guy's motives are? Gil is now starting to run away. The undead zombie.
I asked Booker if he knows what this creature even is.
I've never seen that fucking thing before in my life, but if I had to guess, based on what I saw on my tablet about 10 minutes ago, he's probably one of my collections agents. Garistro, meanwhile, begins to storm forward, and he is just skewering and throwing crowd members. Like, absolutely just stabbing a crowd member, chucking a crowd member, stabbing a crowd member, chucking a crowd member.
All right, Maggie's on the offensive at this point.
Do I have a free action?
You guys can all roll initiative.
Yay! $23.
8.
14.
4.
Right. This one I actually set an encounter for. Yay. Let's see. So, Vanadia, you are going to be up first. What would you like to do?
The old triple slash.
Okay, so you are currently about 7, so 30, you're about 35 feet, but you can probably get a little bit of a running start to him.
Am I not in range?
Well, it depends on what your movement is. You're 35 feet away from him almost exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, so my movement's only 30.
Alright. So you are right here.
But I could, wait, what is it called where you, can I use a bonus action and, dash?
Yeah. Well, you can use a full action and dash unless you have a feat that allows you to use a bonus action for it, I believe.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And then in that case, if I use my dash to get to him, I wouldn't have an action to attack with.
No, but you would still have your bonus action that you could use to do a offhand weapon attack or something.
Mark or something.
Yeah, Hunter's Mark. Or, wait, Zephyr Strike. I forget how Zephyr Strike works. Concentration up to 1 minute until the spell ends. Your movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks.
Nice.
Once before the spell ends, you can give yourself advantage on one weapon attack roll on your turn. That attack deals an extra 1d8 force damage on a hit. Whether you hit or miss, your walking speed increases by 30 feet until the end of that turn. Yeah, I'm going to try that.
Okay. So yeah, you are able to get in there. And I'm assuming that means you can get your attack off then. Kenyasha kind of looks up at you. It's like, oh, hey, you again. Okay, 30 is going to hit. Yep, that definitely hits. need damage for that.
All right.
And then let me know how far away you want to get from it without provoking an opportunity attack. Now you have 25 more feet of movement. Dashy, dashy, slicey, slices.
Okay, so, I'm sorry. How many hits did I get? Because if I use my dash as an action,
So, does first strike require an action, or is it like a free action and then used up?
say that again.
Your first strike feature, does that say that it uses an action, or is that like a free action and then you can't do it again until like a long rest or something like that?
Oh, the Zephyr Strike.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Always sounds like an anime move. Zephyr Strike.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I'm not really sure where to look for that.
Let's see if I can catch on here. On D&D Beyond, so I just gotta pull up a character sheet for you. I don't know why it won't let me pull up your guys' character sheets directly from the Encounter Manager. That seems like it would be a really good plan. Instead, I have to click on about 4 different links to get there. There we go. This one. Maybe, see if I can find it on here, because I don't really remember where it is either. It usually says it right next to your actions that you can do. Okay, so that is a spell, right? First level spell. So that is going to be a full action to do. But it allows you to do all those things. So you will still have a bonus action on top of that.
If I go to bonus action, the spells in there, Zephyr Strike is listed as one of them.
Okay, so you can use the bonus action as that then. And then you still would have your regular attack roll, and you get advantage on that because of the Zephyr Strike.
So I wouldn't have the regular attack roll, right? Because I used my regular action for my dash.
Nope, because you're not using a dash. The Zephyr Strike itself, it looks like, it actually, like, pretty much you're casting it, increasing your speed by 30 feet.
I see.
So the spell itself kind of has like a dash mixed with other stuff in
Gotcha.
it.
Okay.
So that's your bonus
all
action.
right.
So you would get 2 attacks then with your regular attack action, right? Because it
Right.
says every time that you attack,
Okay.
you get 2.
All right. Got it. Sorry, YouTube. All right.
I don't think any of the 13 of them knew the answer either, so it's fine. Can't have 13
like there's
subscribers. We need another subscriber. It's like the Lord of the Rings.
27 damage, I think.
27 damage. Alright. And then you want to move away from this thing, I'm assuming?
Might as well.
Right,
Can't
so
provoke
you've got
attacks.
25 feet of movement.
Yeah, just kind of outside of melee range.
Move back like 10 feet or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, up next is going to be Tohan. Jesus, Vanadia and Murder Lizard would go first, wouldn't they?
Okay. What kind of pistol did I get from that Giff guy? Is it just like a standard pistol, or there's a bunch of different ones?
Yeah.
This is a big ass heavy pistol.
They have like laser pistol, pistol +2, automatic pistol, vicious laser pistol, vicious pistol.
Seemed like
Laser-
blow your head off pistol.
I'm trying to remember where it is in here. looking up some stuff. I know there's a firearms page. I want to say it's page 266, but I don't remember 100%. These don't have page numbers on D&D Beyond. There they are, firearms, right there. Okay, so in the Renaissance item, pistol, the one that does 1d10 piercing. It is literally called a pistol.
Pistol?
Yep. Yeah, so there's a whole batch of them. Like, the first batch is Renaissance items. If you're looking on D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like, when you get down to the thing that says firearms and then properties, the one that says Renaissance item, martial ranged weapons, it's worth 250 gold pieces, 1d10 piercing damage. We'll make that 2d10 piercing because this is a giant version of it.
There you go. Now we're talking.
I should have taken advantage of that when he shot you in the face.
Yeah, I'm
be
gonna
fine.
rush up 40 feet. How far away does that put me?
Let's see. From you to him is only 25 feet right now, 25 and a half.
All right, whatever. I'll screw the pistol. I'll play that some other time. Yeah, I'm gonna run right up to this dude and start fucking hacking away.
Okay.
Recklessly great weapon master style. 18 to hit. Back in my encounter here. Did 18 hit or no?
Let's see here. That is nope. Solid nope.
Okay. I rolled for my second attack and I got a natural 20.
Okay, that is going to hit.
Roll my damage again because I'm a savage attacker. I'll take the first one. 47 damage.
Oof. Okay.
And I'm just right in his face.
Okay, he does not appear bloodied in any way. He has a couple of nicks and scrapes here on him from you guys' attacks, but doesn't really seem to be bothering the creature much. Sort of just looking at you.
That's my turn.
Okay. Let's see. Next, the Garistro is going to shout out, "Booker, I am coming for you!" And he points up with his claws. "But first, shall deal with these pests." And he attacks Tohan. That one. He is going to multi-attack. Let's see. 2 with its fists and 1 with a hoof. In this case, the fists are clawed fists. It's going to be a 16.
16 hits.
Okay, so the first one's a hit. He's rolling with advantage right now because you're reckless, right?
Yep,
Okay.
sure is.
Alright, so that's good. You'll take the 16. First damage is going to be 27 damage. Second one's going to hit 17 on the dice. I roll again just for crits. second attack is going to do 22 damage. And his hoof... I can't see because of the digital dice. There it is. His hoof attack was a 30. Jesus.
Yeah, that hits too.
24 damage.
12 more damage.
Alright. And he is all done hitting you. Next up is going to be Maggie.
How's Tohan looking?
Oh, I'm fine.
Cool. All right, she's gonna throw the frying pan in the mix.
Okay. You're about 40 feet away from the grease straw right now.
Okay, so well, I think it's got a 60-foot range anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, 16 probably right. Actually, it doesn't hit, right?
16 does not hit.
All right, I'm re-rolling it. So 20.
That definitely does hit.
All right, 17 force damage.
Okay.
Does this thing look demonic, devilish? How does it come across?
Some stuff here. Yeah, this thing appears pretty demonic to you. Like, it's very reminiscent of some of the stuff you saw that was invading Avernus from the Abyss. Like, weird snake parts, whippy tails, all the mashed up, like the devils were at least orderly, you know? If it was a fucking spike devil, it just had spikes. This thing's got, like, body parts from all kinds of different shit. So it leads you to believe this is more of, like, a demon of some sort.
Got it. Oh shit. I forgot I was out of spell slots for 5th level, so is it too late to take the spiritual weapon back and summon the celestial anyway, since I'm using a 6th level spell slot?
No, that's fine. You can do that.
All right. Sweet. So
I hadn't assigned damage yet anyway, so.
Yeah. All right, word. So I'm gonna summon the defender, and shit. I guess that's it, because yeah, she doesn't have a bonus action with the spiritual weapon. And then so the she'll kind of like, you know, if there's somebody on the floor that she can help out, she'll go try to kind of stand over them, protect them.
Okay, so you want to move down by Kinyasha?
Yeah, I'd say that. I mean, she's not trying to get too close to the thing because she doesn't want to break concentration. But yeah, if whoever's like wounded on the floor, she's going to go try to stand over him.
Okay. The entire time that this is happening, the announcer is calling the action. Like, oh, another big claw from the demon. Now the healer moves down. Gil, what do you think of this action? Gil is like fucking gone. Gil just ran away. Goddamn ghoul was the smartest one out of anybody in the room. All the crowd is still kind of like, they're hiding from this thing, but they're also still watching what's going on. They're like, whoa, this is a good show. People are still trying to get in through the line. So that is your turn, Maggie.
Yeah, and then the celestial goes after, so
Okay.
gonna hit 3 times. Let's see. And all right.
That's the celestial.
That is a 12, a 22, and a crit.
22 hits, and the crit will hit.
Cool. All right. There's a lot more math than I'm used to doing with this one. All right, so on each of these, he's going to be able to give somebody nearby 1d10 temporary hit points. So I'll roll those after. But let's see. All right, 1d10 plus 3 plus 7. So 1d10 plus 10. All right, so that is 46 damage altogether.
Excellent.
And then
And is that radiant damage?
I think so. Let me check.
I believe that Celestial deals radiant damage, if I'm not mistaken.
And then there's a 7, a 6, and a 9 for temporary hit points to any 3. Basically, I think it's a 10-foot range. Let's see. Yeah, within 10 feet of the target. So if there's any 3 hurt people within that, he's going to go for like the most vulnerable first, not necessarily the party. But I don't know who's still around the monster.
Well, if they're not dead, then you're just talking the Celestial, Tohan, and Fightmaster Kinyasha Yamamoto.
Okay, those 3 you get. I'll say 6 for the Celestial, 9 for Fightmaster, and 7 for Tohan.
Okay.
And you said, is it?
Yeah, is it radiant damage that the Celestial deals?
Yep.
All right. So that damage is then going to be doubled.
Right.
Was 43 damage correct?
I think it was 46. Let me double check.
46 damage. Okay. Yeah, that's close enough. I'll take your word on it. 46 would be.
Yeah, exactly. It's 46.
So 92. Big hit, Maggie. I've had about enough of these motherfucking demons in this motherfucking campaign.
Just pretty fucking sick of them. All right, that's it. The Guardian's also gonna just kind of hang out there, stand in the way.
Okay. The Garishro lets out an absolute cry of anguish. What magic is this? Bringing the heavens into things, are we? Alright, up next is going to be Arianthe.
How far away from him am I?
You are... 30 feet, 32 feet, something like that.
Oh, perfect. So I'm just gonna fly my broom the 2 feet it takes me to get within 30 feet of them, and then I'm going to use sorcery points and cast True Strike as a bonus action. Gives me a brief insight into the target's defenses.
Okay.
Gains me an advantage on my first attack roll if I use an attack.
Excellent. So let's see. You learn all resistances, immunities, and weaknesses, right?
It doesn't specify. It just says brief insight into target's defenses.
Okay. So you can see. Yeah, again, this is the one that works sort of like the eye of Aegos did. So you can see its armor class is 19. Out of its 310 hit points, it is now down to 148 after Maggie's fucking power move. Murder Lizard to Murder Cleric. Let's see. It is very perceptive, and much like other demons, it does have certain immunities and resistances. It is resistant to lightning, cold, fire, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. It is immune to poison damage and cannot be poisoned. It cannot have the condition poisoned. It speaks Abyssal, and it warns you that this beast is prone to charge attacks. So if it can move at least 15 feet in a straight line towards the target and then hit it, it can do an extra 38 damage to you.
Does it tell me anything about whether it's like it has high intelligence or wisdom or any of that stuff?
It is not very intelligent. As far as wisdom, it is not a particularly wise creature, although it has been around for who knows how long, so it's probably seen some shit. But yeah, as far as intelligence goes, it does not seem to be a naturally intelligent creature. It's sort of just a rage monster.
Gotcha.
Some sort of hired gun.
All right, and so for my regular spell, let's just I'll do level. Yeah, I'll do a 5th level erupting earth, and center it just on him and away from anybody else.
Okay. So
That's a dexterity 17 saving throw.
Okay. Going just behind him, then erupting up out of the ground under the Coliseum. It's pushing the floorboards right up. He rolls. What's the modifier? Dex is +0, so he rolls an 8. I'm assuming that's a fail.
So he gets 30 damage.
Okay.
And then I use my free action to relay all the information I gleaned about him to the rest of the party.
Got it.
I'm imagining the Booker's like kind of sad about people dying, but really sad about his floor getting fucked up.
Yeah, he
I
doesn't look happy.
I yell back to him, "I'll help you fix it."
He says, "Kill the fucking demon first, please. I'll pay you double what I was going to."
And that would be my turn. I actually I use some of my movement to move back a bit, about
Okay.
20 feet back. Okay, it is now Vanadia's turn.
All right. So I still have I can still move in and out without provoking opportunity attacks. So I'm gonna move in and is he bloodied yet?
Oh yeah, he's bloodied.
All right. So I'll just do the regular bop boop bop.
Okay.
Does 23 hit?
It does.
Right, so that's 3 hits. All right, so 47 plus I'm gonna do my thing that comes with the Zephyr Strike, the 1d8
Yep.
force damage.
Now, are either of your weapons magical?
Yeah, one of them is.
Okay, so the magical weapon will do full damage. The non-magical weapon is going to do half damage.
Okay, hang on, I have to look and see. Right, so take 6 off of that then. So 42 plus 8, so 50 damage.
50 damage. The demon now appears very bloodied. And then I'm assuming you're moving back out of its range.
Yep, popping right back where I was.
Alright, Tohan, you see Vanadia blur by you and slash the shit out of this thing. And it is now your turn.
I definitely don't want to be outdone, so same thing. Attack it recklessly, great weapon master.
Okay.
Done so.
26 to hit.
Hits.
And the first one. Uh, 24 to hit in the second.
Both hit.
Reroll that one. It's a little better. So 37 damage and 31 damage. So 68 total.
68. I'm going to screenshot this, I swear, because he has exactly 68 hit points left. So with a look of disbelief, as you split his head down the middle, the Gristro just observes you for a moment, its eyes squinting as though it's memorizing what you look like, and then it vanishes in a puff of smoke. And the entire crowd goes fucking nuts. They just start clapping, cheering. Like, it's like, it starts off as a slow clap, of course. It's just one guy somewheres, and everybody looks around, and of course it's Reggie who starts the slow clap. Clap, 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 and then the crowd, they're picking you guys up and putting you on their shoulders. Even the Booker is kind of looking like, okay, yeah, this isn't terrible, and he's looking around, realizing how many people there's still people coming in to see what the hell's going on that just bought their tickets.
Start the chant, murder lizard.
Yeah. Everybody's clapping to it. Yep. Yeah. So you
Wait,
guys,
yeah. How many fan points does everybody get?
everyone gets 1,000,000 fan points for this.
That's it.
I have a million and one now.
That's 1,000,000 to split between all of you. I don't.
Even
Alright, we'll
Aaron
just-
gets into it a little bit and starts flying around on our bloom using a predigitation to make all pretty lights and sparkles and shit.
Excellent. It's literally the ending of every Raw or SmackDown ever that you've ever seen. And it just fades to black. So
I think he's gonna follow this, of course, and it's just like tending to the wounded and seeing if anybody looks dead but isn't.
there's a few there. You were able to help out a few of the people that got kind of smacked around by flying.
I do a
bodyguards.
million unarmed strikes on the guy that we just defeated.
So Kinyasha is very thankful for your rescue of her, and she mourns her fellow wrestlers. The medics return out, and they begin just dragging the bodies back into the locker room one by one. And the Booker assures you that he has the resources available to resurrect those people, but he also tells you that it seems as if Nib has finished up your ship, and he offers each of you 500 gold pieces, and Tohan, he gives you the extra 500 that he promised you for defeating the mountain.
I thought you said you were going to double it.
Aaron sheepishly apologizes for the floor.
He says, yes, pay it no mind, it's fine. Yes, I suppose I did say I would double it here. And he gives you an extra 1,000. So you're 2,000 total. Everybody else gets 1,000.
I don't suppose you do any bounties, do you? Bounty hunting?
He says, actually, I've spent most of my career trying to avoid bounty hunters, if you catch my drift.
There's someone I want to put a bounty on. Do you know who I could talk to?
I might know a fellow. He says, I can put in a call for you. What's the name?
Jarlaxle.
Never heard of him, but yes, I'll dispatch my agents and see what we can muster up for a bounty.
I was going to say, you can tell them 1,000 dead or alive.
1,000 dead or alive. Very well. You must really hate this man.
I just don't like leaving loose ends.
I can appreciate that. You're obviously the smart one of your group.
I know.
Can I have a word with Kinyasha for a second?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can kind of sneak off to like the locker rooms for a minute, and as you go into the locker rooms, you actually see that the two halflings are in the back, and they're literally like sticking the head back on the Giff in the back, and they have these two paddles that they keep delivering an electric shock to this Giff with. The head keeps flopping back off, and they're like, I don't know why this isn't working. So yeah, Kenyasha says, what did you wish to speak of?
Listen, your business is none of mine, but it seems to me your talents could be put to better use than just being a human punching bag.
She says, oh, well, sometimes I get to punch other people too, though. That's fun.
Yeah, but for how long and for how much is it worth to you? Listen, I think we could use your skills in our security team on our vessel.
Really? What's the pay?
I'm certain it's more than this chump can offer.
Well, he's been paying me 100 gold pieces per match to do these matches. I do about one a week. Could you pay me 100 gold a week?
Easily.
Wait. If I was to leave here where I know I'm making money, I would need more money. Perhaps 120 gold per week, she says.
Getting greedy.
You get the feeling that she's being kind of naive.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a teenager trying to ask for her first raise.
Yeah. Getting greedy, eh? All right. I think 120 gold. We could certainly manage that.
Excellent.
I said, and I hand her a platinum piece as a sign-on bonus.
So, thanks. Well, I suppose I'll put my notice in with the booker. So you guys are all free to leave the arena. Reggie is absolutely emotionally exhausted at the end of this night. He is so happy that everything went, as far as he's concerned, according to plan. It seems like you won all your fights. You did very well. And as you return to the ship, this is the only downside I have to this is, well, I won't be able to pilot the ship and walk around in this body at the same time, but I do assure you it's been quite a spectacular evening. Miss Maggie, thank you for keeping me company in the stands, and Miss Arianth, well, thank you for allowing me to participate in something so human.
My pleasure, Reggie, and that your body will always be there for you to use.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad. I thought perhaps you were going to turn it to scrap to do more upgrades to the ship with.
No, I wouldn't even dream of it.
Alright. So as the crowd files out after a long and exhausting night, you all return to your newly repaired ship, your re-repaired ship, because it just had a big hole fixed in it, and now it's got new wires. You guys are slowly making progress on upgrading this thing. And as you see the Serenity, it is manned well now. There are people all aboard the deck, and they are taking care of things. They're scrubbing the decks. They're tying up new riggings and things. All of your crew are very active, and they all seem fairly happy. So Kenyasha is following with you, and as she approaches, the other humans that joined you recently sort of kind of wave, and she waves back, and she says, "Oh, I think I'll like adventuring." And you all enter the ship, and as you prepare to leave, you hear a voice come from inside formerly Jarl Axel's cabin, now Arianth's cabin, I suppose. And it says, "So, what did I miss?" And Umbra is sitting there in the captain's kind of seat, one leg cocked to the side of it over the armrest.
Aaron runs over and gives her a hug, relieved that she's back.
She says, I came back and you were all gone. You've been gone for several hours now. What happened to all of you? You're all covered in blood. Tohan. Is that Giff blood? It's an odd shade. Well,
part of it's demon.
Some of it's demon. A lot of it's Hippo Man.
Well, You shall have to tell me all about it as we commence our travels, she says, and she says,
Yeah, I got this, and I hold up the giant pistol.
She says, "Excellent!" And she immediately opens a portal over your hand, and you can feel the thing slipping, and she begins juggling the giant pistol through portals. Now, there's more and more shit each time she does this trick. There's like chainsaws, swords, axes, knives, there's a pistol, she's like, "This is so lovely to be here with all of you. So much better than where I just was, I can assure you." And she gets just a little dark look on her face, and she says, "Well, Captain Arianth, shall we be off?"
Yes, let's be off.
Alright. With that, you sail off into the starry night skies of space on your journey forward to discover the mysteries of what it is that has driven the dragons from Tyrell, and perhaps what force you can use to defeat the evil Lich Vecna and his underlings. Yay.
And hopefully some more information on the right order for the rod.
Yes.
Now you make sure to take care of the crew and get everyone to bed, but she's like desperate for sleep at this point.
Yes, and
Do
you
we
guys,
have enough time for a long rest?
yes, you guys will absolutely. You can go to your cabins and take a long rest.
Maggie also tells Umbra that about Jarl Axel's escape, where she saw him, and asks if she can maybe locate him. She's curious how concerned she is about him disappearing, but she is concerned about Jarl Axel disappearing. She knows he's hella resourceful.
Yeah, absolutely. So is there anything else that anybody is concerned with of what we will just touch upon next time?
Well, she definitely wants to know what Umbra was up to as well.
Okay. Just trying to get some plot pointers so that I'm not struggling midweek going, what the hell did we do? And trying to remember. It's the Order of the Rod, Jarl Axel's escape, Umbra's story. Escape / bounty. That should give me some good lead-in points. Cool. Awesome, guys. That was fun. I'm glad that it turned out okay. I was really struggling earlier in the day, but I was also digging a bunch of potatoes today, so while I'm digging potatoes and trying to think of stuff that I could do, ideally, I would have liked to have a more fleshed out system for the wrestling stuff, because I think that there's potential for that there to be a thing. I even looked up some other board games about wrestling, and it turns out there's a game called Rumble Slam that's a card / dice game with miniatures. I was like, no shit, it's a fully manufactured game that was on Kickstarter a couple years ago. Looks really
Nice.
cool.
That's cool.
Typical YouTube disclaimer, I'm not sponsored by them, but if they want to send me a copy, that's cool. Yeah, so I don't know, I've been watching quite a bit of wrestling lately, in case you can't tell. It was between this or having you guys go on a Fantastic Four adventure, because I've also been reading a lot of comics, so who knows, maybe next week. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, I have to get
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, Zach.
I have to be up very early in the morning. Thanks for playing again, guys.
Yeah, thank
Hopefully
you
I'll-
guys.
Good times.
Hopefully
We'll
I'll-
see you guys
Alright.
next week.
Good night.
Good night, Internet. Thanks for watching, all 13 of you.